Well, hey, this is Rhonda Simmons, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Simmons Empowerment Foundation. And I am so excited. Welcome to another edition of Empowered Heart to Heart. But this is a special edition because, as many of you know, I'm also a master certified professional coach, and our coaching practice is the service arm of our foundation. And my coaching practice is called Dear Future Me, the coaching program. And the reason why I named it that is because a lot of times we get stuck where we are, where we think this is all there is, life will never be different, nothing will ever change. But when we change our focus to the future me or the future you that you want to be, it changes everything. Because now I'm going to start making decisions not based on where I am now or what I have or what I don't have or what my stage is in life right now, but I'm going to make decisions based on who I want to be in the future. That changes everything. And so today I have a special guest. I'm so excited. I love when I have guests on the show. And she is a very special client of mine. And she's given me permission to record a coaching session with her because I wanted you all to see what coaching is like and what it's not. Coaching is not therapy. I'm not diagnosing anything. This is not that. But coaching is a powerful way to go on a journey of self-discovery between where you are now and where you want to be. Sometimes that requires us to take a look at the past so that you can move forward. And sometimes it's all about discovering the answers that were already within. And so I'm excited to have Miss Chantice Cheatwood with me. And let me bring her into the show. And here she is. Hi, Chantice.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am excellent, excellent. I'm so glad to have you with us. And let me just tell our audience, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, you want to like, comment, and share this broadcast so that people will know that Miss Shantice is on the air and she's live and this is happening. You also want to subscribe to our channel so that you'll know every time a new video is uploaded. If you're listening to our podcast, make sure that you bookmark it so that you can come right back to our podcast and get the latest events and latest episodes happening. Miss Shantice, I have been looking forward to this day.
Me
Looking forward to it.
too.
How are you doing well today?
I am doing well. I am doing well. I'm really looking forward to this day too. I've been like doing my homework and just like self-reflecting on the podcast of what we're going to talk about today. So I'm looking forward to sharing and seeing the outcome.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to bring our listeners up to date, this episode is about the power of letting go. Yes, I said the power. Who would have thought letting go requires power? But if you live long enough, you kind of know it does. So it's about the power of letting go. And as we go through this coaching session, I want you to notice a few things. Notice how we establish some goals for the session. Notice the process that we take to just help Shantice process everything she needs to process to arrive at those goals, and then to determine how well we met those goals at the end of the session. So, Shantice, you mentioned you did some homework about this coaching session. So, what were your big takeaways from that?
Well, my takeaways were from well, I had did 10, and I'm just kind of looking at my notes, going back and forth to the screen. But a big thing that I have found, like out of the 10, I will probably say the biggest thing for me to let go is things that I have no control over. And after just sitting and reflecting on it, it's like the benefits of holding on. I'm going to say the bad benefits of holding on is the stress, is the anxiety, is the worriness, and I struggle with this in everyday life of letting go of things that I just have no control over.
Yeah, that is so powerful. We tend to just stress out over these things, and I totally get it. So let me ask you a question, because to our audience, they didn't see your homework, and you mentioned 10 things, where you listed 10 things you could let go of. So how did it feel once you listed those 10 things? How did you feel?
I felt honestly, I felt relieved. I felt like 10 pounds was lifted off my shoulder. And it also had me into like doing some critical thinking. Like, if I actually, because I'm writing this stuff on paper, if I actually follow through with letting these things go, I'm like, maybe I'm not going to say my life won't be so bad, but maybe all this stuff that I'm causing will just literally be a breath of fresh air. So it really had me reflecting on things that should be let go out of my life, people, things, past experiences, because I believe, I learned from those types of things that I've went through, and I believe that there's so much more out there, and I feel like those things are just literally holding me down, pulling me one way, not letting me succeed when I can just like get up and walk away.
Absolutely. So for this coaching session, what do you hope to accomplish by the end of it?
Okay, well, I hope to that I can really walk away from the stuff that I let go. Like practice what I've been writing, practice what I've been thinking, practice what I'm saying. So a big thing from this coaching session would be the takeaway of actually letting go of baggage. I mean, it just, think about it all the time, thinking about Erica Badu and her, bag lady. I'm like, I got bags, bags, bags. Okay. So, I just want
Yes,
one bag.
yes, yes. I can so relate to you. So relate. So you listed 10 things, that you wanted to let go. Two questions. My
Okay.
first question is, how hard was it to write that list?
On a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 7. Because a lot of times, I'm going to speak for me, like, a lot of times is some things, some things you have no business having people or doing certain things, and it's just like writing it down was just confirmation that I really need to let go of some of these things that I'm holding on to. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say a 7, because I'm selfish. Some things I really don't want to let go because I'm content, but I know it's not good for me. I know that it's more out there, and I'm just hindering my blessings, blocking my blessings, and, et cetera, and things like that.
Wow, that's amazing. That is so amazing. So is there any one particular thing that you listed that you're comfortable talking about and diving in a little bit deeper?
Yeah. So let's go with we're going to start off. I mean, I am a straight shooter. I'm going to say bad men.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I mean, it's just, that is a big problem that I have. It's very problematic for me. And I'm pretty sure, a lot of other women my age, African American, white, Hispanic, can relate to this, because I think the perfect image, like reading and the media, all of these things, like people think you need to have a man. You need to have a man, and a big thing that I'm sharing with is bad men from past experiences with me. I feel for me holding on to knowing that they're not good for me has caused financially, it has caused me to be a single mother of two, has caused mentally and physically abusive, all these things. And when I look back at my life, I said to myself, well, darn, God has put me through struggles dealing with these men, and he's brought me out even when I didn't see that a way out. And I still am doing the same thing, going along the same same path dating men that I know are not good for me, that don't have my best interests at heart, but I still do it anyways. So that's a big problem that I have, is like dealing with bad men that don't have my best interests, you know?
Okay, may I ask you a question about what
Sure.
you just said?
Yes.
So my question is, I mean, because we all have our list of things that we need to let go of, so it's not just you. But my question is, you said that you know that these men are bad for you. You see the signs, you know it. Can you elaborate on, in your own words, why you um, repeat the same process? Because you said you keep dating these men that you know that are not good for you. Can you share why? Do you know why?
Yeah, like I feel like it's more so of the internal thing because I am a college graduate. I do have a career, and I have a lot of things going for myself, but I feel that there is like a little bit of insecurity with that, because I feel like, well, if I date a Brad or a Chad, that type, I'm like, well, do I feel, will I get along? Will I make it? Am I too much? If I am I not good enough? So I tend to run to what I know, and even though what I know is obviously not good, is something that I'm comfortable with and content. And it's like I'll deal with the punches later because I'm comfortable dealing with those men. And I also feel like too, um the men that I have dated come from backgrounds of, I feel like, more I can relate to in that sense, but I know it's just not good. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question, Rhonda, but it's like I feel more comfortable with, like, and when I say bad men, we're just going to be honest. Like I said, I'm a straight shooter, drug dealers, scammers, men that don't have a legit job, like a 9 to 5. And when you're dealing with those type of people, you always have to look over your shoulder. You always have to wonder, is your house going to get broken into? Are you going to see the next day? And then I have to realize, I do have children, and I have to look out for them and their best interest. So it's like almost I have a good person on my shoulder and a bad person on my shoulder, and I'm like battling. So it's almost like a comfortable thing, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It really does. Um, One of the things I shared with you prior to us recording was an experience I had of self discovery a few years ago, where I was journaling, and I said, all of the changes in my life, even the good ones, they came as a result of some trauma. And just instinctively, I just typed, the reason why I hold on to my obesity is because it's the one thing I can control and
Mm,
it won't change.
right.
And of course, there are no positive health benefits to that. This is not a body image conversation. This is just, it's like it's familiar,
Right.
and I need,
Right.
and it's time to deal with that. And so that's another coaching session. But I like the fact that you are self aware. I did think of other questions while you were talking. One of them is, you mentioned the Brads and Chads. And Brad, just leave it at Brad and Chad. Got bracket. I'm the bracket. But so my question is, you said that you date these bad men because it's comfortable, it's familiar. So my question is, have you ever dated someone that was outside of your comfort zone?
Hmm. No. I no, okay. As far as like dating wise, no, but like maybe going on to dinner and getting like a free meals, like something like that. Yeah, I have, I mean, seafood, hey, okay, we can do that. But as far as like getting to know, I have not, because like I said, again, I just feel so uncomfortable. And I have come across men, in my hometown or where, I'm currently residing, and we'll have like conversations. But as I'm talking, Rhonda, I'm like, oh my God, what if I'm not good enough? What if they're looking at me like I'm crazy? Like, what if like they don't like what I'm saying? All of these things, to where I feel like with Tyrone or a Marquis, it's like, okay, da da da, this, that, and the third. But a lot of it too is a big, like you said, it's what I know. And then too, like, not to be so discreet, but growing up with my mom, it used to just be me and her. She was a single mother. My biological father wasn't always respectful, and he was really day and night, cold, hot. So I really didn't grow up, knowing him or having a good relationship with him. And then sometimes I think back to that from, not really seeing how, my mother was treated with my biological father, until she remarried to my stepfather, to where I see now how a man is supposed to treat a woman. And sometimes I stem back from that and wonder, like, is that why I allow, these type of men in my life? Because growing up from like 0 to 10, that's all that I thought was okay.
I understand. That is very powerful. Very powerful. That goes back to the age-old question of nature versus nurture.
Mhm.
Which are we most impacted by? Our environment, or um, who we are. Just our nature. And so that is very powerful. So here you are today, X number years old. What would motivate you right now to choose better?
My kids. My daughter, I have two kids. I have a son, he is 10, and I have a daughter who just turned one on Valentine's Day, baby. But not saying it didn't click with my son, but raising a daughter, and especially in this day and time, a black, young lady who will soon be a woman, I want her to know that how men should treat her. I want her to not make the same mistakes I made and put more years on things that don't have to be. And when I say more years, like, I did things backwards. I had a kid first, then I graduated college. I had to put school on hold, but I also had that mindset, like, I don't care, I'm doing it. So a big motivator would be my baby girl, for her to know that, men should treat you right, should show you respect, don't tolerate anything less than greatness. I mean, have reasonable standards, but don't but have standards. Don't be like me, where, oh, it is what it is, maybe I'll have standards tomorrow. You look good, you smell good. It's more to it than just that. And so that will probably be biggest motivator. And knowing my aunt that was really close to me passed away 2 years ago. Her name was Elaine. And now that she's gone to a better place, I know she's looking down, and it's like she's probably flipping in her grave of knowing, these men that I have, had intercourse, all these things, these type of men that I have encountered with. And so those two people in my life are big motivators, and just so I could do better, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. Very, very powerful. Um, so let me ask you this question, because you've mentioned it a couple of times. You've mentioned how you have some internal insecurities. And I'm sure we all do. But this is your moment. And you mentioned that that's holding you back from taking the Brad and Chad seafood there, to the next level, and finding out what's there. And so my question to you is, and this might sound really unusual, but I want you to do me a favor.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, are you able to move to a different seat somewhere near you where you can still hear me? You won't see me, but you can still hear me. Leave your
Yeah.
camera as it is. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to ask you to sit in a different seat
Okay.
for a moment. Or if you got to roll over, that'll work too. Okay, whatever you do. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So look back at the seat that you just left.
Okay.
That empty seat represents the old Chantice.
Okay. Wow.
What
Wow. That is deep.
what are you thinking and experiencing right now?
Like, it's, I don't even, words can't even begin. That it needs to be left there. That the old Shantice needs to be right there in that chair. Um, because I see so much greatness, and I just know, I really truly know that if I could just let go of all the stuff that I wrote down, all the stuff I know that's not good, God is going to just flow me with so many blessings, pour and pour into my lap. And because I have seen it, I've witnessed it. But once I go running back, then it's like, okay, they may not stop, but they'll start coming little by little, if that makes sense.
Mhm. What would the new Shantice tell the old Shantice in this moment?
Girl, what are you doing? Look at all this stuff you have moving forward, and you still want to go back to the old. You're not doing nothing but blocking your blessings, and the things that you're wishing and wanting are right in front of you. Get it together.
Wow.
Because if
It's
not, they're gonna stop. And I keep telling myself, if I don't change and let go of what is holding me back, I am a believer, and in my religion, God is gonna take me through the mud and take me through the mud and pull me out when I don't think I will be able to come out. And I that's what I'm trying to avoid. But I know if I keep going down the path of me not wanting to let go and change, that's what's just gonna happen. Yep.
pretty powerful. When you're ready, go back to your original seat. Okay. Now I want you to look at the seat where you just came from.
Hmm.
What are you thinking and feeling about that new Shantice?
I can do this. I can do this. I can do it, and it's not going to be easy, but I know there is better out there for me. I know that God is going to guide me. I know that blessings are going to overflow if I just keep that little bit of mustard seed of faith. Yeah. Yeah. I truly, truly think that. I know that there's good things out there for me, and this was just so powerful to be in the old seat and in the new seat. I'm really curious to know moving forward of how is it going to feel, what is it going to look like being in this new seat. And I really feel like that I should probably write a million times. I have so much notes on my mirrors and stuff at home. And everyone that comes to my house knows, like, oh my gosh, you have so, I manifest so much. And I really need to have, I'm in the new seat. I have a new seat. I don't need to be in the old seat. That seat is raggedy. It can't be fixed. Trash.
That's great. But you know, if we're really going to get to the new Chantice, there's action that has to happen.
Correct.
You know, thinking about it, knowing it is one thing,
Mhm.
doing it, walking it out is something totally different. So, what one action, I mean, literally an action, what one action could you do to get you a step closer to the new seat?
Following through. That is a big action of mine. And like literally, like I'll speak about, just to give an example, with my health journey. I started in January, after having a daughter and a son. Even though he's 10, we're gonna still say baby weight, okay? So all of these things, and I finally came to like the conclusion of January of this year, like, listen, and Beyonce, I'm going to the Beyonce concert with my best friend in September in Dallas. And I'm like, I have like these goals, this motivation, but I knew that if I wanted to lose weight, I must stick to a diet and following through. And so there were times I would start my diet 2 days later. I'm like, you know what? I'll try again next month. But I literally have practiced what I preach. And it is so hard because I love bread. Okay. But I said that to say from January until I finished my journey on May 12th, I lost 40 pounds by no sodas, no juices. Thank you. No juices, no pastas, no sugar. And my good friend Giselle holds me accountable. But saying, following through, I was able to see results. I was able to see, two pant sizes down, all these things. And if I could just have that action of following through with the things that I have listed of letting go, I know that there will be success. But it just, like you said again, it's just like having that discipline, having that, mindset of there is better, you want to do better. That's just what I'm like battling with, good versus evil.
Okay. So, in particular, with the one item that you mentioned on your list about the the bad men, what is what are you going to do differently now?
Moving forward, I deserve better. I have already started putting in place. I have been doing this um, in the morning every day, saying I'm worth so much more. And again, I have a reminder every single day when I wake up, my daughter. And that just gives me more motivation to do better, in regards to finding the right person for me. And that's also another thing I had listed, was letting things go. And when I say that, letting go of bad men and have a mindset that there is someone out there for me that, isn't bad, and I just need to have that also mindset that I am worth, I am capable, and what I am saying isn't crazy, because I'd be like, oh, am I looking crazy, and I'm just like, I just need to have that motivation, like, and like, confidence, there we go, confidence in myself, to know that I am pretty, I am attractive, I am very educated, I'm black, I'm strong, I'm an independent woman. And yeah, so I just need to just kind of have that mindset, and who, I mean, I may have a Brad or a Chad, I don't know, and his auntie May can't cook macaroni and cheese, but that might be it might just be with something I may have to deal with. I mean, his aunt can't cook mac and cheese, or he don't have no money in the bank. So
Well, if I may add to your list of qualifications that you listed about yourself,
mhm,
you are enough.
thank you.
You are enough. Just like, excuse me, we say there's no perfect man. It's because none of us are perfect.
Correct.
Women, men, none of us are perfect. We all have our flaws, but we have to decide what are we willing to live with and what's a non-negotiable.
Right.
And that is a list that you have every right to determine what's on either side.
Yeah.
What's a non-negotiable? Can I tell you something funny? When
Yes.
I when I was in my 20s, um, I won't say my age, but when I was in my early 20s, I always thought, oh, I'm going to marry somebody, who's tall, definitely
Yes.
taller than me. I'm 5'9", and definitely taller than me, and has curly hair. I can just run my fingers through and just, I had this whole description. The man I married that treats me like a queen, he's 5'9", like I
Oh.
am, and bald as an eagle. And I am happy as I can be. Obviously, those things weren't on my non-negotiable list, but I was able, over the process of time, I was able to, back away from the stuff that I can't control, that, you
Right.
know, things happen, things change, and he used to have hair, but it's gone and it ain't coming back. So, so when you make up your list, what works for you, right? Knowing that you have every right to say what you want and what you don't want
Yeah.
because you are enough. And in your own words, you're strong, you're powerful. I love how you know who you are and you know what you bring to the table. But you get
Yeah.
right to that moment with the Brad or the Chad and you think, I'm not enough. And you are. You got, and I have to applaud you. I do not want to end this show without applauding you for being a single mom of two. I'm telling you, I know it's not easy. I tried foster parenting two kids,
Um,
two sisters years ago. I lasted 6 days. I don't
oh
know
man.
how. I don't know how single parents do it. I have no idea. I mean, even going to the restroom, there was no privacy. They just wouldn't stop talking to me.
Yeah. It's
So
like that, man.
yeah, yeah. And so hats off to you for
Thank
figuring
you.
out so much. You've got a career and your mom and you're taking care of them and they're fed and your 10-year-olds in school, it, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's not easy, but I just, being a single parent, you just go with the punches. You wake up and you're like, okay, we don't know how we're going to do it. May not have no money in the bank, but you can make something shake for the kids to eat, things like that. And I learned, there's no book on how to be a parent, period. You just
Right?
go with the flow and figure it out.
Yes, yes. So hats off to you. That's definitely what do they say, a feather in your cap.
Yes,
You're just you're superwoman. And
thank you.
so when we started off the session, You said that your goal was to let go of some things. And we narrowed down the list from 10 to the one
Mhm,
about letting go of bad men.
mhm.
And we talked about um, the new you versus the old you and what that looked like. So now we're coming down to the end, the takeaways, and so my question is, how closer to letting go of bad men do you feel you are now that we've had this session?
Closer. I mean, just talking is always therapeutic. And I know this isn't a therapy session, but just talking and reflecting. And even when I started writing my list, I felt closer. And the more I want better. So to answer your question, I'm closer, I'm not at the door, but it's visible now. Like I can see that I need to make better choices. I see that there are so much more opportunities for me. And like I said again, I don't want to be Erica Badu. I don't want all the bags. So that being said, I'm closer to only carrying one bag.
Mhm. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I really appreciate your time today, Chantice, and I hope that you found this session helpful.
I
And
did.
good, good. And I definitely look forward to working with you in the future. And if you hang out just for a minute, I'm going to wrap up this episode and I'll get right back with you. Okay?
All right. Okay.
All right. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. I know that if you listen to this entire episode, there were so many points where you could relate. Shantice represents so many of us today. And I encourage you, dig deep within. What do you need to let go of? What's keeping you from letting them go? Why are you holding on to the things that no longer serve you, that are causing you pain and anxiety and stress and worry and just so many different things? So I think the real work is in understanding the why. Why are you holding on to those things? Why is it so hard to let go? That's where the real work is. So I hope that you've enjoyed this empowerment coaching session. And I'm so glad Shantice was able to be here to share her story with us. And make sure that you like, comment, or share this episode because we will be back next week. We'll be on the radio on KRGN 98.5 FM every Saturday at 12 noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're also, of course, on YouTube, Empowered Heart to Heart, as well as our podcast. So until the next time, be blessed, be encouraged, but most of all, be empowered. I'll see you then.